There's a lot of memories here. And most of those memories are with my father.
The old man passed down some of his belongings to his children and grandchildren. Today we will look at some of the things that Pawn Stars host Corey actually inherited from the old man.
Hey, before we get into the video, be sure to enter our brand new giveaway. We'll be giving away any of these items. It's your choice. To enter the giveaway, leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, turn on notifications, and most importantly, watch the whole video. It's that simple.
The family estate.
It's about time.
It is about time. I know.
After the show Pawn Stars premiered, it quickly became one of the most popular television series to ever make it live. With many fans, viewers, and sponsors for the show, the Harrison family was definitely making a lot. This sudden influx of cash and freedom meant that the old man could afford to move into a nice estate. So when the old man passed away, he left the estate to his children, who then gave part-time ownership to their children, including Corey. However, something very interesting about this inheritance is that the old man actually left out one of his children in the passing down of his estate. According to court records obtained by The Blast, Harrison's original will named his wife and 3 children as beneficiaries. However, in 2017, he signed an updated document that specifically cut out his son, Christopher, from benefiting from the estate. The documents state, "I would like to express my love and affection for Christopher, but cut him out of the will. The purpose for naming Christopher and removing him from the will is unclear." Rick Harrison, who starred with his father on Pawn Stars, was put in charge of the estate as the administrator. The filing in the will does not list how much Harrison's estate was worth. Corey, who is Rick's son, was given part-time ownership as well. While we don't actually know the cost of the estate, nor what it looks like, we can assume that it is definitely a nice living quarters, as it seems the Pawn Stars never really had trouble with money due to the big success of their show. So what does this say of the old man that he left this estate to Rick and Corey and company? Simple. It's a place where they can all get together and enjoy the memories of the old man. It's also a place that they can call their own without fear of repercussions. The house was paid for, and so outside of utilities like electric, gas, and water, they can go in and know that it's fully paid off, and thus it's exactly the kind of home they can live in. It says a lot about the old man that he would leave this house to them, and it goes a long way to show that Rick left a part of it to Corey. It means to be a legacy house, one they can all enjoy and have fun with while honoring their family members. Who knows whether they'll keep it long term? It's certainly a possibility, and I would even go so far as to say that it's a highly probable chance that they'll try and keep it as long as they feel they can maintain it, not unlike many homeowners. But at the end of the day, it was the old man's house, and that alone is worth the cost of keeping it up nice. Luxury cars.
Where's my car?
The shop buys about 12 to 15 cars a year, though not all of them make it onto the show. And like his co-stars, the old man was a big car guy. He owned a 1963 Chrysler Imperial 4-door, a 1966 Imperial convertible, a 1962 Cadillac Sedan DeVille, a 1957 Chevrolet 150, a 1955 Ford F100 pickup, and a 1937 Oldsmobile, as well as many more cars that were never showcased on television. However, as you can tell, the old man loves his vehicles. "I guess my favorite is my 62 Cadillac," he said. He owned that car for 18 years. The 62 Caddy, the 63, and the 66 Imperials, they're land yachts. They've got the turning radius of the Enterprise. The old man should know he spent his first career in the US Navy. "I kicked around the Navy for 21 years and then left September 1st, 1979, he says. "I was always what I call a street hustler. I'd go to pawn shops and secondhand stores. I was always buying or selling. I was always looking for a bargain." While he was stationed in San Diego in the early 1960s, he bought several cars at government auctions. "I had a friend who lived in Tijuana, and I used to buy a lot of station wagons and take them down to Tijuana. They became taxicabs." Nonetheless, the old man decided to give up some of his favorite cars to his children and grandchildren after his passing. While we don't know exactly which cars were given to his children, we can guess that Corey and his other relatives definitely got some cool wheels after the passing of his grandfather. One has to wonder if the infamous 1962 Lincoln Continental was part of that package, as that was one that was gifted to the old man on an episode of Pawn Stars. The first Lincoln Continental was produced as a personal vehicle for Edsel Ford, Henry Ford's son, who wanted to create a promotional vehicle to help advertise the new Lincoln marquee. The fourth generation Continental, bought on the Pawn Stars, reinvigorated the line's classically elegant form with a distinctive rear suicide door setup and plenty of chrome all over. An added attraction for the Pawn Stars may have been this era's Continental classic role in The Matrix, as the protagonist's preferred ride when they entered the computer program, and had to navigate the dangers of the concrete, but actually simulated, urban jungle. This 1962 Lincoln Continental came into the store and Rick spent $9,500 to get it. He then spent a whopping $15,000 more on getting the interior redone, so that's $24,500 in all. And after all of that, it was given to the old man as a present. That showed a lot of love for the old man that they would spend so much money on him in regards to a gift. Again, we don't know which cars were given to the family, but it'd be cool to think that he would definitely return the gift that they once gave to him: his ability to spot fake items.
You're thinking,
No,
or you're assuming, which makes us out of you.
Corey in particular received a few traits from his grandfather, one of those being his ability to tell the difference between fake and real items. Authenticating items is one of the most important aspects of owning a pawn shop, because the price difference in a real item versus a fake one is very drastic. However, over the seasons, we noticed that Corey had a great eye for spotting fake items. While he wasn't as great at it as the old man, we can tell you he was a close second for the best authenticator in the Pawn Stars show. Sure enough, Corey got this skill from his grandfather, who taught him the little tips and tricks to tell the reals versus the fakes. Those of you who have been watching Pawn Stars for a long time know that Corey isn't the one to mess up on making deals, and neither was the old man. Overall, this isn't necessarily an item or belonging to Corey inherited, but we had to include it on the list because of the necessary skill that he learned from the old man himself: the boss persona.
The fact is that I'm the boss, and whatever I say goes.
When the Pawn Stars show originally aired on live television, the old man was known as the boss, the big guy in the shop. But as the seasons went on, we noticed that Corey and Rick took over some of that leadership from the old man. Corey eventually became known as the manager of the shop, and also became well aware of how to run a business thanks to the help from his grandfather. Corey had stated that the old man was a big influence on his life and the ability to run the pawn shop as a whole. He has also said that he has no problem firing employees who are not fit for the job. When I fire employees, I just look at them and I say, "You're fired." I don't prolong it. I can do with mistakes, but I can't deal with stupidity. On the other hand, he's great at finding new people to work in the pawn shop. Overall, his leadership role has definitely developed over the time on Pawn Stars, and we can credit a lot of this to the old man, the shop.
Well, you have heard of the Pawn Stars Pawn Shop down in Las Vegas, Nevada. Everybody's heard of that.
Of course, the old man, being the founder of the pawn shop showcased in Pawn Stars, had to give the shop to somebody after he passed away. So when the time came, he passed down the store to his son Rick as well as Corey. The old man titled Corey as the full-time manager after he passed. At the time, Rick also basically became the face of the shop, while the old man moved his position more so behind the scenes. This really left the shop in hands of Corey over time. Hopefully the shop will continue to see its success through the years without the face of the old man there, and we are sure it will, considering how much Corey and Rick have learned from the old man. It's evident that the show and the shop will thrive for years to come. Valuable life lessons.
Is it the everlasting gobstopper?
Yeah.
That's the real deal?
The old man lived a long and eventful life. Through that, he learned many valuable lessons, one of those being in his time in the Navy. Longtime watchers of the History Channel's reality television show Pawn Stars typically know that Richard Benjamin Harrison, aka the Old Man, spent time in the Navy, but on the show there were only passing mentions of Harrison's time in the Navy. What viewers don't know is that he rose to the rank of personnelman first class during his 20-year career. Those 2 decades saw Harrison serving on 4 ships, a destroyer squadron staff, a tactical air squadron, and 1 shore tour at a maintenance activity center during a career stretching from 1958 to 1979. I spent 14 years on board ships, and I was gone a lot, Harrison told Navy Times in a 2014 interview. That's the only thing I didn't care for. The old man grew up in Lexington, North Carolina. As was the case for many young men of the day, Harrison joined the Navy only after being given an ultimatum from a North Carolina judge that he either join the military or go to jail after stealing a car. Son Rick Harrison wrote in a 2011 autobiography. After recruit training in San Diego, Harrison served back-to-back tours on 2 San Diego-based destroyers, the Orlick and the Twinning. He left the Navy in 1962 after his 4 years were up, according to Harrison's releasable information provided by Navy Personnel Command. So through the time in the Navy, as well as other eventful life events, the old man definitely had a story to share, and he was able to teach his children and grandchildren about life and all that he went through. Some money.
You can wait on it.
Amen.
At the time of his passing, the old man's net worth was estimated to be around $8 million, and that is a lot of money. So what this meant was that after receiving the estate, the old man's car collection, and more, Corey was given some extra money from his grandfather. And as we stated earlier before his passing, the old man actually made a change to his will, stating that one of his sons would not be getting anything after the old man passed. But of course, Corey was part of his will alongside Rick and the other Harrisons. Obviously, we do not know the exact amount of cash that the old man gave to Corey and his other relatives, but based on his net worth, we can conclude that a lot was passed down. And even if it wasn't, the money that the old man had would likely be put to good use via his will. The old man was a cunning man, both in life and in business. He would have made sure that everything was taken care of in one form or another, and that definitely goes in for his wealth. But just how much was divided up? Well, only the Harrisons know that. His work ethic.
Pretty good shape, man.
Go by, Rick.
You're driving.
When it comes to working in any business, especially a pawn shop, there's no doubt that you have to have the work ethic in order to get things done and to keep things rolling. The old man had many ups and downs over the years, but he's been working through them no matter what, and that's something he most definitely taught to Corey, both through his words and through his life's lessons. Once the old man was done with the Navy, he actually joined his wife Joanna's real estate business as a part-time worker. The business was open for a few years and everything seemed to be going well. However, this was during the time when the United States wasn't doing so hot, especially in the real estate market. Interest rates on house buying began to skyrocket, getting as high as 18%. This led to the old man and Joanne losing $1 million and having to close up the business, something that has happened to many families who have invested in the real estate market. It broke many people, but the old man didn't give up, not with his family needing to be taken care of. The crash hit them hard, and they only had about $5,000 to their name. So the old man took Joanne and the boys and took them to Las Vegas in 1981, and using what money he had to spare, he opened up the gold and silver coin shop alongside Rick. They started out with a 300 square foot shop, but by the time 1986 came around, he made enough to get a bigger place for them, and in 1987, he obtained a license to start acquiring and selling secondhand goods. Bet you didn't know you needed a license for that, huh? Regardless of whether the old man was handing coins, jewelry, cars, or anything in between, he kept himself dedicated to his business. History Channel wrote a bio for him and noted, he had to learn a little about a lot really fast. From Rolexes to antique cars, Richard is now armed with the rare skill of assessing the value of anything accurately. And on an episode of Pawn Stars, it was noted that he hadn't missed a day of work since 1994. That's 24 years of dedicated work, and that's to be praised. And his time at his first shop was still only the beginning of things to come. Now, while it is true that Corey still has a long way to go in order to meet the old man's legacy, it's still something that he can talk about with pride, because he knows that his grandfather didn't give up during the worst times in his life. So if Corey is smart, he'll do the same. And especially since his grandfather might have been famous on TV, it didn't start out that way. What's important to note here is that the shop opened in 1988, and yet Pawn Stars didn't air on the History Channel until 2009. So that means that the old man and Rick ran the shop successfully in the spot at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South for over 20 years before they got their fame on TV. That proves that they both knew what they were doing, and they were very good at doing. Memories.
There's a lot of memories here, and most of those memories are with my father.
There's no way you can put a price on life, but there is a way to put a price on the memories that you made with a person that you loved, and that's simply to say that it's priceless. For Corey, Rick, and the rest of the Pawn Stars family, it was no doubt hard to see the old man go, but their memories of him will be forever. The old man passed away surrounded by his family, a very fitting way to go out, as it were. Harrison received many honors in his life, including him, Rick, and the Pawn Stars family being given the key to the city of Las Vegas. Harrison himself was given the key to Lexington, North Carolina, a fitting tribute to the place that he grew up in. His family has given many statements on the passing, but this one from his son Rick seems to be the most appropriate. He will be tremendously missed by our family, the team at Gold and Silver Pawn, and his many fans the world over. He was a hero, and I was fortunate to get a very cool old man as my dad. That I got to share him with so many others, and they got to see what a great family man he was, is something I am grateful to have experienced with him. He lived a very full life, and through the history television show Pawn Stars, touched the lives of people all over, teaching them the value of loving your family, hard work, and humor. We appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers, and ask that we are provided with some privacy at this time. While it's been a while since the old man passed away, it seems fair to say that there are many memories that Corey will have of his grandfather. working in the shop with him, going to various places around the world, learning about the man that became a legend, and so on and so forth.